They lined him up at sunrise. 54 Japanese soldiers stood in silence, rifles loaded, fingers resting on cold steel triggers. The jungle was quiet, too quiet. Even the birds had stopped singing. The American man standing in front of them was bleeding, starving, and chained. They believed this would be quick. They believed he was already broken. But what they didn't know was that in exactly 7 minutes, every single one of them would be dead. And this execution would ignite the most terrifying manhunt in Imperial Japanese history. For the next 3 years, over 50,000 Japanese soldiers would hunt one American. They never caught him. Instead, he built a secret army of 35,000 fighters deep inside enemy territory. This is not a movie. This is not a legend. This is the true story they tried to erase. The man they shouldn't have captured. He was not famous. He was not a general. He didn't even look dangerous. His name was Major John Ghost. Carter, name adapted for storytelling, a reconnaissance, officer trained for sabotage, survival, and psychological warfare. Carter had been dropped behind enemy lines in the Pacific in 1942. His mission was simple on paper: observe, disrupt, disappear, but nothing went according to plan. His extraction plane never came back. Within weeks, his unit was wiped out. Carter survived alone, living off rainwater, roots, and stolen supplies. For 8 months, he moved like a shadow through Japanese-occupied territory, until one night, a betrayal changed everything. A local guide, terrified, hungry, desperate, sold him out. Carter was ambushed while sleeping, hit with rifle butts, dragged through mud, chained like an animal. The Japanese command wanted a public execution, not because he was important, but because he was humiliating them. Supply convoys destroyed, radio towers sabotaged, patrols found dead with no sign of attackers. They wanted fear to end, so at dawn they lined him up. 54 men. One American, 7 minutes of hell. The execution officer raised his sword. That's when Carter smiled. In a single motion, he slammed his shoulder forward, breaking the weakened chain link he had been sawing for weeks using a hidden razor. Before anyone could react, he grabbed the execution officer's blade, shot one soldier with his own rifle, threw a grenade he had hidden in his boot. The jungle exploded. Smoke, screams, confusion. Carter didn't run. He hunted. 7 minutes later, 54 bodies lay in the dirt. Not one shot fired by the firing squad hit him. He vanished into the jungle, covered in blood that wasn't his. The most expensive manhunt in Japanese history. The Japanese command was humiliated. An execution turned into a massacre. Orders were issued immediately. Find him, dead or alive. Entire battalions were redirected. Planes searched jungles. Villages were interrogated. Rewards were posted. Within months, 50,000 Japanese soldiers were involved in the hunt. But Carter wasn't hiding. He was building. The Jungle Alliance. Carter discovered something the Japanese underestimated. The jungle tribes hated them. Forced labor, burned villages, stolen food. Carter didn't promise money. He promised revenge. He trained them with stolen weapons, taught them ambush tactics, turned farmers into fighters. Every Japanese patrol that entered the jungle never came back. By the end of the first year, Carter commanded over 5,000 men. The Ghost Army rises. Japanese intelligence called him the Jungle Devil. Radio messages spoke of an invisible army. Supply routes collapsed. Outposts were overrun at night. Commanders disappeared in their tents. By year 2, the force had grown to 20,000 fighters. No uniforms, no flags, just whispers. Carter never slept in the same place twice. He moved with ghosts. The final count, 35,000 men. By the 3rd year, the unthinkable happened. Carter's secret army reached 35,000 fighters. An entire shadow military operating behind enemy lines. Japan had lost control of entire regions without ever winning a single battle. Then one night, the Americans returned. Extraction and silence. Carter was ordered home. No parade, no medals, no headlines. Official records labeled his operation classified, never to be discussed. Because admitting the truth meant admitting fear. That one man had outplayed an empire, the battle that never officially happened. By late 1945, something strange appeared on Japanese military maps. Entire regions were marked inactive, not captured, not liberated, just silent. Radio signals vanished. Supply convoys stopped reporting. Command posts went dark overnight. Tokyo demanded answers. What they didn't know was this: those regions weren't empty. They were controlled by him. The Japanese finally decided to end it, not with searches but with annihilation. A full-scale operation was planned. Airstrikes, encirclement, scorched earth. The goal wasn't capture anymore. It was extermination. Carter knew before the first bomb fell, because one of the greatest advantages he had wasn't weapons. It was information. Japanese messages were being intercepted by local runners, teenagers, farmers, fishermen, people the Empire never considered a threat. Carter gathered his commanders that night. No fires, no lights. Carter's rule was simple. Only whispers. He didn't give a long speech. He only said one sentence. Tomorrow they think they are hunting us. Tomorrow we erase them. The night the jungle moved. At dawn, Japanese troops advanced in perfect formation. They never saw the enemy. Trees fell, blocking roads. Bridges collapsed. Explosions came from nowhere. Then the jungle attacked. Snipers fired once and vanished. Traps dragged soldiers into the ground. Entire units, 54 men tried to execute him. They failed. 50,000 tried to hunt him. They failed. Because the most dangerous weapon in war is not a gun. It's a man who refuses to die. And sometimes, history doesn't remember the victors, it remembers the ghosts.